top 10 heroes for the month of June 2020, and I just want to thank everyone for liking last month's video. It's always my favorite video to make, and I've got to like it myself just because it creates a playlist. So we're going to do kind of what we did last month, and that is we're going to talk about not only the top 10 characters, but I'm going to expand a little bit to the top 20, and I'm going to point out when I think of characters in the top 5 and or the top 10 and where I think and why they're good. And we're going to start off this list. So this is not in a particular order, but we're going to go over the top 20 characters, basically, even if it's a top 10 list. But top of this list, we had to put Black Bolt, probably my personal favorite character in the game right now, because I use him in every single game mode, everywhere, all the time. Plus, he's required to unlock Ebony Maw. And he's a counter, a soft counter, almost a hard counter to Ultron because of this ability right here. And this is when he burps on people, and this is what makes him so good, is that he cleans up the mess, he cleans up the trash, and he does that last little attack, and that'll be good. Now, Cerebro did say in a post that there are some Black Bolt bugs currently. I know of 2, one with freezing and one when the opposing team has a barrier, like from Invisible Woman. There's a double burp, if you will. I call this a burp, which makes him quite amazing. So hopefully we'll see some changes to Black Bolt. Now, I know what you guys are all thinking before I get into this. Is Ebony Maw and Thanos going to make the list? And the answer is yes, kind of. And we're going to talk about that later in the video. But let's keep going. Hela also easily makes the top 10. I don't know if I put her in the top 5. Black Bolt for sure is the top 5. But I do use her at almost every game mode. And first of all, she's amazing. She just truly is amazing. Her death knives right here spreads negative status effects. She does quite a bit of damage. But really, it's all about her summon, which we affectionately call Greg. And the reason why we call him Greg, because I get that question all the time, is like, why do you call this Greg? Is because the game file before in the Dead of Mine, his picture actually said Greg, and so we just call him Greg now. But he's the Undead Asgardian. I like the way he dances. Oh my god, it's great. Anyways, he's the reason why she's good. He takes away turn meter when he dies. Seems like the AI targets him a bunch. I actually get very good use out of her in Dark Dimension. I'm liking her quite a bit. Every time that the AI targets Greg, that's a win. That's one character that just didn't get one-shotted. It's quite amazing. I gotta say she's a top 10 character for sure. Next on the list is Yoyo. And I don't know if Yoyo's on the top 10. She might be 9, 10, 11, somewhere in there. Because it's becoming more apparent to me that she's just a function of Black Bolt. And she works hand in hand with Black Bolt. I guess you could say, Phoenix and Colossus and Magneto and Juggernaut. But for a minute there, I was really optimistic that Yoyo was going to be a standalone character, mostly because of her ability right here, applying offense down persistently on the opposing team. I do prefer Yoyo on defense because her AI plays better than that of Invisible Woman, but I think Invisible Woman is all around much better standalone character than Yoyo, but she's really just a function of Black Bolt. I wish I hadn't done her flurry, run the gauntlet. She really doesn't do that much damage, and this right here is just when paired up with Black Bolt, it's a tag team and it clears negative effects because Black Bolt assists. And if you're playing against Yoyo, the Black Bolt won't have offense down, which is quite amazing. But she's really, in my opinion, become a function of Black Bolt, and her passive is just probably one of the best passives in the game. She does all kinds of silly things, just makes Black Bolt so much better. Just really this flurry and run the gauntlet really doesn't do any damage. And if it did more damage, I could put her higher on the list. The run the gauntlet does give energy to Black Bolt. Like I said, it's just a function of Black Bolt, really. Next, Phoenix. Okay, I think Phoenix is the best character in the game. However, I think she's peaked. I think she was at her top, and she's on the downslide. We have Crystal, which has a soft counter to her, and Ebony Maw also has a soft counter to hero controllers, which Phoenix is. However, the reason why I continue to say she's a top character in the game is she is Dark Dimension 3. She is pretty much mandatory in the first 8 nodes of Dark Dimension. She's doing all the damage. And that's because Her summon, when she dies the first time, is not on cooldown. So her summon can always get this vitality drain off. And that is just majority of the damage that I was doing in Dark Dimension 3 was strictly a function of Phoenix. And she's useful in almost every game mode except for, let's say not so much raiding because you have to refresh her. But I do use her in raids sometimes. Amazing character, easily makes the list. Top 10, top character for sure. Invisible Woman is a top 10 character. I really like Invisible Woman, and I was conflicted about Yoyo and Invisible Woman because they're both protectors, but I'm really enjoying Invisible Woman as probably the best standalone utility character in my opinion, mostly because of this bending light right here. Having the ability to clear negative effects from yourself is quite important, and there's only a couple characters that do it well. When I think of this type of ability, I think of Scientist Supreme, I think of Groot, I think of Jessica Jones, and she just offers the most utility with giving barrier, and she pretty much is her own tank, single woman tank, and then she also is the core member of the Fantastic Four. Huge fan. I use her a ton in PvP. Love her. She's quite good. Next on the list is Loki. Now, Loki is not in the top 10. I want to say Loki's somewhere in the top 20. And the main reason for that is this mind control. He's very fast. And he goes early. And so a lot of times, 115, a lot of times it's about going quickly and being able to clear an opponent first. And this pairs up quite well with Phoenix. But applying defense down doesn't really matter if he's got offense down from Yoyo. That may not stick, but then having two opponents come in and hit somebody, and then you follow up with a Captain Marvel burst, or you do it before with a Yoyo basic attack followed up by Black Bolt assist, usually you can kill somebody turn one, and that's why he's on the list. Plus, the combo there with Loki and Hela is quite good. Plus, Hela and Loki are both requirements to not only get Black Bolt, but also Phoenix. So I'm a big fan of this guy. But he's somewhere in the top 20. I wouldn't put him in the top 10. Let's keep going. Cherie. Love Cherie in Dark Dimension. I've got a lot of thoughts about Cherie. I think she's amazing. First of all, her going quickly and putting defense up is amazing. And then also her passive in raids right here, which she puts up deflect. And the best way I could describe deflect is a bad version of defense up, and it's single use, but it stacks. It stacks with defense up, and that's why deflect's so good, and that's why she's been an important character in U7. I'm currently running her in Arena with Spider-Verse because I pretty much have broken up Wakandans. And I put Cherie on symbiotes, not Spider-Verse, but specifically symbiotes. And I put Killmonger on Mercs, Black Panther on Hero Brawlers with Ms. Marvel, and then I'm not using Okoye or M'Baku at this time. And a lot of people are asking, where am I going to put Vision when Ironheart comes out? I'm going to put him on BKT because Thanos has gone to Black Order. All right, let's move on. She's a top 10 character, mostly because of her use in raids. I use her in PvP. I don't really like her in Arena, but I do like her in almost every game mode other than Arena. Next, Captain Marvel. Captain Marvel is a one-man army, one-woman army, if you will, and she goes fast. This binary ability, pretty much, with some other combination with another character, whether that is Yoyo and Black Bolt or let's say Loki, or maybe even Human Torch, turn one deletion. The Loki Captain Marvel combo is quite good. And I know a lot of people are getting her right now because of the Milestones event. Anyways, you're not going to regret any resources you put into Captain Marvel. She is brute force, and she could use all the red stars, all the gold stars, all the gear, all the T4s, and she's just a powerhouse. And on defense, 100k Captain Marvel is a full team on her own, and you just put some other filler characters with her. Probably one of the best plug-and-play characters in the game. Absolutely makes the top 10 for sure. Next on the list is Falcon. He's not a top 10 character. He's a top 20 character, And I put him on the list because I think this ability right here is going to scale well over time. We play a turn-based game, and turn meter is everything. And this ability right here to be able to get turn meter to your entire team very quickly and very early makes for good things. And I'm using a lot in PvP, but he's not a top 10 character. Somewhere in the top 20 for sure. And I think he will be for a long time. Next is Magneto. Magneto, probably could put him in the top 10. But he's kind of fallen off, but because there's a couple counters to him, namely Phoenix is kind of a counter to him, Rhino, Heimdall for Asgardians. But this turn 1, being able to pull all the enemies together and apply blind is just too good. And I think he's going to make this list for a long time. He was a top character in the game for a long time. His times came and went. But it would be a mistake not to include him at least in the top 20. 1,000%. Next, Ebony Maw. This guy is not working correctly. I'm kind of disappointed with his heal. And where I place him largely depends on what happens in the next week. I do think he's a top 20 character because I use him on defense in Arena. I've been using him in U7. And he seems to be like a hybrid of Cherie and Minerva. But the only thing is that his cooldowns are long. So he doesn't have the short cooldowns like Cherie. And he does a lot of the same things that Minerva does. It seems like he does well when he's paired up specifically with Minerva. Like Ebony Maw plus Minerva seems to be a good combo. I'm going to be taking him to 14 solely for Dark Dimension 3 because some of the cosmic nodes, the last 2 cosmic nodes are a true mess. And I want to take him in there with Minerva and him and some of the Asgardians to get it done. He might be a top 10 character, but the jury's out on this guy. I want something wonky with his heal. And I'm waiting for them to make some bug fixes or some clarification on that. And let's go on to the next character. The next character is Symbiote Spider-Man. Now, this is a top 5 character. I love this guy. So, like, my 3 favorite characters in the game right now have to be Symbiote Spider-Man, Phoenix, and Black Bolt. I use this guy everywhere. I'm taking him to 14. I just love Darth Spidey. I put all the T4s on him. I love using him in U7. I'm going to be using him in Dark Dimension 3. I could talk about this guy for like 5 minutes about how many things I like about him. He's fun to play. Defense down on basic, extending negative status effects, putting bleed on his middle ability, putting stun and slow, persistent healing in Raid and Dark Dimension is bonkers. And I really like him with Carnage, by the way. Carnage will make the list. This is a top 5 character for sure. Carnage is in the top 20. But those two together. Boy! Another thing, too, I want to say symbiotes are probably going to be off the chain if they add 2 more symbiotes or a legendary symbiote. I'm just saying, I'm calling it now. I'm not worried about putting resources into Dark Spidey, Symbiote Spider-Man, Carnage, and Venom at this time because if we get 2 more symbiotes, boy, I love this guy. Let's move on. Mr. Sinister, top 5 character, easy. So I've kind of committed to putting my promotion credits and give him 6 red stars when I ever get him. He's not currently farmable. I believe that this character is going to have a kit that is going to do for a long time. A lot of times I make references to Galaxy of Heroes. I believe that Mr. Sinister is the Thrawn of Marvel Strike Force, and that's because of his clone ability. Whatever character comes out next, he's always going to be able to clone him. I believe this guy is going to have a very long shelf life. Not regretting putting any resources into him. Looks like he's good in nearly every game mode. Maybe not U7, but Dark Dimension 3, Arena, sure. Everywhere else. And I'm taking him to 14. And this is a mandatory T4 right here. Love this guy. Top 5, maybe top 3 character. He's way up there. I love this guy. Next, Scientist Supreme. Scientist Supreme is in the top 10. I believe she might be falling off the top 10. Because I believe that with the raid difficulty selector, There may be ways of running U7 without her. I'm finding the team compositions are changing almost daily when I test them on stream. I've been running a lot of Ebony Maw and Thanos combinations. I've been running combinations without Scientist Supreme with just various combinations. But on the old version of U7, she was the key to making U7 work. And that has to do with her putting out buffs, negative effects on everybody, and then flipping them on your own team. This is also very useful, just the same way that Invisible Woman is useful. Being able to clear negative effects off your team seems to be like a very important ability that's only shared with a handful of characters, like Invisible Woman, Scientist Supreme, Jessica Jones, and Groot. So for that reason, too, she is a top 10 character. I wonder if she's falling off a little bit, but I highly recommend Scientist Supreme. Plus, I did get a little bit of use out of her. And not really. All characters in Dark Dimension 3 are pretty bad, except for Phoenix and maybe Hela, maybe Colossus. I mean, there's just not a lot that works. I mean, a lot of these characters on this list are good, I'm sure, in Dark Dimension 3, but having the 25% revive seemed to be pretty interesting as well. I did get some value out of that. Next on the list is Thanos. Now, this guy is questionable in the top 20. I put him in here because I think there's going to be some modifications to the AI on Thanos. Hopefully, we're going to see what they do with the Black Order to make them a little bit better on defense. I'm also still using him as a battery in U7. I've been testing him with Minerva, Ebony Maw, and Black Bolt, and having him feed the energy into Ebony Maw and Black Bolt. The fifth slot, I've tried some different things. Cherie, Symbiote Spider-Man, Ultron. The jury's still on that. This guy is still very good inside of a full Black Order team. Yes, I have to put him on the list, but he's not in the top 10. You know, he's definitely like okay-ish in the top 20. Needs to be on the list for sure. But jury's out on this guy. The jury is out on this guy. I'm not sure if I want to take him to 14. Next on the list is Vision. Okay, so BKT, Best Creed Team, which was Star-Lord, Rocket, Minerva, Groot, and Thanos, is being broken apart. Some of the original versions of BKT include Vision instead of Thanos. It's a no-brainer to put Vision inside of that team with Rocket, Minerva, and Groot. Mostly because they're all tech, and you're going to get the benefit of defense up, which is amazing on that team to get defense up turn 1. Ability block is always good. Clearing negative effects is always good. And he's getting pulled off of power armor because of Ironheart's release probably later this week. So that's what to do with Vision. Put him on BKT. Still a quite good team. I know a lot of people are reassembling Guardians, but I use Drax on other places, and I'm not using Mantis, and I kind of like the idea of Minerva and Vision being there with the core 3 Guardians. Top 10 character, probably top 15 character. Get a lot of use out of this guy. Also, this ability block is kind of like a soft counter to Ultron as well. I love this guy. Very good. Next is Carnage. Carnage is in the top 20. I'm going to be taking him into Dark Dimension 3. He seems like he's also useful in U7. He pairs insanely well with Symbiote Spider-Man. And I personally believe that there's going to be some monster Symbiote Spider-Verse characters coming out. Symbiote Spider-Verse characters are probably going to be the next meta at some point, or they're already good. The 3 of them together are just amazing. I think it would just be a mistake to not include Carnage on at least the top 20. Next on the list is Ghost Rider. I love this guy. He's in the top 20. He's fast. He puts out negative status effects early. He pairs well with Hela. He's kind of the damage output of Supernatural, which is quite amazing. The other thing too is I want to take this guy into Dark Dimension 3 because he's a hero. I love that counterattack ability. Seems quite good. Seems like you're always going to be dying. At least he'll be hitting them back. Plus, I think part of my experience with Ghost Rider is that there's some scary Ghost Riders on my arena shard, like 7 Red Star Ghost Riders, and they just destroy me every day. So I have mad respect for Ghost Rider, easily a top 20 character. Next on the list is Ultron. Okay, so Ultron used to be the best character in the game. Share with Phoenix. I want to say that he's still very good. Black Bolt kind of ended the age of Ultron, if you will. However, Black Order the complete Black Order team can't use Black Bolt. And so it turns out that Ultron's a good counter against Black Order, maybe with X-Men. So this guy's still in the top 5. But so if you're just unlocking him, he's still quite good. I use this guy almost everywhere all the time. But specifically, I'm using him right now. If I come up against a Black Order team in the arena, I'll throw in my Ultron. And my goodness, what's going to happen when we get red stars on Ultron? I love this guy, but he's not the best character in the game. There's definitely other choices out there that are just as useful as him, if not better. I mean, I just got to say that I really, really like Phoenix, Black Bolt, Symbiote SpiderMan, and even Mr. Sinister as much as Ultron at this time. Can't say enough good things about Ultron. His bots, he's a one-man army when the bots get going. Almost unstoppable once the army gets going. But high cooldowns and doesn't make him that effective at times inside of U7. You have to micromanage him, and it's kind of time-consuming. Balanced, if you want to think of it in a lot of different ways. And then lastly on this list is Minerva. Minerva is probably the single best healer in the game. I like the way that she pairs with Ebony Maw. I'm also going to be taking her to 14 for Dark Dimension 3. I also like her at PvP because you pretty much have to kill her first. And, you're wasting your time killing some other high damage target because she's just going to revive them. Plus this right here is the main source of damage. She is the queen of Dark Dimension and the main way to unlock Ultron. So that is my top 20. There are a lot of other characters I could have put on this list. Let me know what you think in the comment section. Mostly I wanted to make a top 10 list with maybe an extra bonus 10 characters so you guys could think about them. And that way that they're just not all legendaries also, so we can throw in some non-legendaries. All right, guys, guess what time it is? It's now time for the giveaway. I really hope you liked this video today, because if you did, you are in luck. For every single person that likes this video, you will be getting for free in your account an 8-star Nick Cage.
This is not a scam.
I don't know why this picture is just really funny to me. It's like one of those pictures that you can't unsee once you've seen it. I mean, I know Ghost Rider, but I could choose to believe that's a different variation of Ghost Rider. But what about this variation of the Avengers? Nick Cage Avengers? I don't know. All right, guys. Thanks for watching and keep on gaming.